I wanna get it.
Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another meal prep video. So I'm actually starting out this meal prep upstairs in my office. I just wanted to kind of give you guys an overview of everything that I'm going to make this week. I have this project planner pad. This is from Get to Workbook, which is also what I use for my day planner. I'll link her site down below. She has a lot of awesome stuff. Not sponsored or anything, I love her products, but I'm trying this out to plan out my meal prep this week. This is meant for planning projects, and Adam and I have actually used these before when we were planning like different home projects and stuff like that. But I do like this because it sort of gives you your different areas here, and when I'm cooking a lot of food, I like to write it all down so that I make sure I don't forget anything. So I just want to share a little bit about what I'm going to make, and then we'll get into the meal prep. So I do want to make some egg salad. I have some eggs left over in the fridge from last week, and Adam really likes taking egg salad sandwiches for lunch along with a can of soup, so I'm going to make some of that. I'm also going to do some meal prep chicken curry. This recipe is from cookieandkate.com. It's her Thai Penang curry with vegetables. She just makes it with vegetables, but I actually like to add chicken to it. I've made this before and it's delicious. So I'm going to make that along with some cauliflower rice and maybe some regular rice for Adam. I'm also going to make some hummus, and I might do like some boxes, you know, with some veggies and some naan bread. This is the recipe I use. It is from Cook's Country magazine from 2012. And so I'll type this out in the description box below, but this is the best hummus recipe that I have ever found personally. I am going to make also some pumpkin chocolate chip muffins. I've made this recipe before many times and it's really good. I will link it down below. I also am planning on prepping some Greek salads to take to lunch for myself, well, either for Adam or myself. I also need to wash my fruit, wash my veggies, and then I also want to make some Pico de Gallo to go with a dinner this week that we're going to do. And then I also want to make some of the Sous Vide egg bites. This is the Starbucks copycat recipe, so I'll link that down below also. So now I'm going to take you down to the kitchen and we will get started. So first I'm going to get started on my egg salad, and I like to make my hard-boiled eggs in my Instant Pot. It's my favorite way to do them. So I use the 5-5-5 method. I just put my eggs in a steamer basket, which I can link down below. I use this thing all the time. I put it into the Instant Pot with a cup of water, and then I cook them on high pressure for 5 minutes. You let it do a natural pressure release, so leave the valve shut, let that go for 5 minutes, and then go ahead and let all the steam out. Now once all the steam is out, you can go ahead and open your Instant Pot, and then you can put these in an ice bath for 5 minutes. I usually actually put them in for longer than that. I just want to make sure that the shells are easy to peel, but once they sit in there for a while, they will definitely be super easy to peel. It's like the best way, honestly, to make hard-boiled eggs. So to that, I'm going to add some celery to that egg salad. So I'm just going to chop that up into fairly small pieces. I like to kind of cut the celery lengthwise into small strips and then cut it crosswise into smaller pieces. That way the pieces are very small. I mean, I like celery in my tuna salad and my egg salad, and I will be making some tuna salad later, but I don't like it super chunky. And so since I knew I was going to be making tuna salad also, I'm just going to dice up a little bit of red onion and put that in the bowl for the tuna salad, and a little bit in the egg salad as well. Okay, so now I'm going to peel my hard-boiled eggs. So I just like to do this on the counter. I just basically roll the egg against the counter until the shell comes off, and then I keep a bowl of cold water there just to rinse off any extra shell. And this works pretty well for peeling hard-boiled eggs. I also wanted to mention, if you guys are new here, hi, my name is Jen. I'm a full-time working mom. I have 2 kids. Kira is 9 and Connor is 6, and I love doing meal prep on the weekends to prepare for the week for our family. Also, if you don't follow me on Instagram, my username over there is Jen Chapin. I'll pop it up on the screen right now, but make sure you follow me over there for more real-time updates about what we're doing and what I'm cooking and eating. So also recently I ordered this egg slicer for myself on Amazon. I think I had one once before and it ended up breaking and I just didn't have one. So I used this to chop my eggs up. It worked really well. I think it was only about $10 on Amazon. So I'm thinking it's a pretty good investment, not only for this, but to slice eggs for salads as well. I'm going to add a little bit of mayo to the bowl along with some yellow mustard and some dill relish. I don't really have a particular recipe for this. Everything is just to taste. I also like to add a little bit of Splenda for sweetness and then some salt and pepper. And then I just stir that up until everything is well combined. After you get it stirred up, go ahead and taste it just to make sure that the seasonings are okay. You may have to add more salt or more pepper or more sugar or Splenda depending on your taste. But once it's finished, you can pack it into your containers.
Gotta get it right now. I wanna push all the limits with you right now. So watch your feelings, the city's screaming, we're not coming home tonight. We're living quick in the world, gotta get it right now.
When I do salad like this for meal prep, whether it's egg salad or tuna salad, I always like to pack it into dishes and not directly. That way it doesn't get soggy and Adam can just take it to work either with bread or crackers. So the next thing that I'm going to get started on is washing my fruit. I really love to make sure that I wash all of my produce thoroughly, and to do that I use my OXO, I think it says, I don't remember if it's OXO or OXO. I think it's OXO salad spinner. I'll link it down below. You guys have all messaged me and told me that you got one and you love it. So what I like to do is just soak my berries and other fruits in a mixture of really cold water with a splash of vinegar. There are some articles out there that show that vinegar can be effective in killing some types of bacteria. So it makes me feel better to use that instead of anything else that might not be food safe. So once those strawberries are done soaking, you can make sure you rinse them really well. You obviously don't want them to taste like vinegar. And then I just like to cut the tops off and slice them up and put them in a container. I'm going to do the same with my blueberries. Just make sure those are clean and rinsed off. And then I let them drain a little bit so that water doesn't get into my container, and I'll pour those into the container as well. The next thing that I'm going to get started on is some grapes. So I like to take these grapes off of the vines and put them in my salad spinner and do the same thing. I find that grapes are oftentimes a lot dirtier, so I do tend to soak those a little bit longer. But the same process is what I use for these with the vinegar water. Okay, so I'm going to fill up my salad spinner again with cold water and a splash of white vinegar and let those soak. Once they're done soaking for about 15 minutes, I'll rinse them off really well, and then I will get them into a Ziploc bag and in the refrigerator. So while those are soaking, I'm going to go ahead and cut up some mango. My kids and my husband actually have really been liking mango lately, and it's something that I haven't always bought. Sometimes here in the Midwest, it's a little bit challenging to get mangoes that are ripe, but the nice thing is that if you let them sit out on the counter for a couple days, they usually get ripe pretty quick. So how I like to do it, and I don't know if this is like the proper way to cut a mango or not, it's just the way that has been the easiest for me, is I use a vegetable peeler to peel off all the skin, and then I just try to cut off as much of the flesh that I can. Mangoes have like an oblong pit in them, and so you can just cut off the two sides and then the two ends, and I like to slice them up kind of into spears. That way they are easier for my kids to eat. Now, I don't store my grapes in the container with this particular fruit because, well, number one, there's not room, and number two, they tend to be a little bit wetter than these other ingredients. If we don't use all of this fruit up by the end of the week, I don't waste it because I just throw it in a Ziploc bag and put it in the freezer, and then we use it for smoothies. I also washed up some broccoli, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that off of the stems so that we can use that for dinner later in the week. So I am using a Ziploc bag for my grapes. I try to use reusable containers, but sometimes because of the way my refrigerator is, I have to use Ziploc bags to make sure I can fit everything in. So I also got a bag of apples, and I'm going to do the same thing with these, just soak them in really cold vinegar water. I find if I have these already washed up and on the counter, the kids are more likely to grab them, and it's just a quick snack if someone needs one before supper, after they get out of school, and I want to make sure that they eat something healthy. So I'm just drying those off with a clean kitchen towel, and I'll put those in the fruit bowl along with my oranges and bananas. Okay, so I did get a bag of pears at the grocery store this weekend. I haven't bought these in a while either. Someone please tell me why there were stickers on every pear, even though they came together in a huge bag. I don't know. Either way, it was a little irritating to peel all those off, but I basically washed those the same way that I did the apples, dry them off and get them in the fruit bowl. These were not super ripe at first, but once they sat there a few days, they did ripen up a little bit. So I know that you saw me chopping celery earlier, but that was kind of out of order in the video because actually I needed to wash it first. So now I'm showing you how to wash celery. So I'm just chopping this up and putting it again in the salad spinner. I soak that the same way, and some of this I'm going to put in the refrigerator to use for snacking. When I store celery in the refrigerator, I like to just put it into a mason jar, or like I save all my old spaghetti sauce jars and stuff, and I pack that in there and then just fill it up with cold water and store it in the fridge. It stays good for a couple weeks this way. And then the rest of the celery that I don't need or won't use during the week, I'm going to put that in my veggie scrap bag in the freezer, and that's what I use to make chicken and beef stock with. Okay, so now it's time for the tuna salad. You guys saw me put the onion and the celery in the bowl before. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 cans of tuna in there. This was something that I have been craving, and actually I'm the only one here that eats tuna salad, so when I make it, I usually just make a small batch. I squeeze some lemon juice in there, some dried dill, and some dried parsley, and then I'm going to go ahead and add some mayo and some salt and pepper and just stir that up. I usually actually don't eat this on bread. Sometimes I take it to work and eat it plain or with crackers or like with lettuce leaves, but either way, any way you eat it, it's good. I do like to put, like I said, the red onion and the small chunks of celery in there along with the mayo and the dressing and the seasonings.
Why don't you do it right now?
Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to get started on prepping is this Thai chicken curry. I'll leave a link to this recipe down below. It's from the Cookie and Kate vlog. Or blog, I'm sorry. She actually does vegetarian recipes, but I like to add chicken to this because we're not vegetarian here, and it just makes it a little bit more filling with the chicken. So I have 3 chicken breasts that I pulled out of the freezer and defrosted. I'm just cutting those into small chunks. I like to use a plastic cutting board, obviously, so I can sanitize that. Once the chicken is cut up, I'm going to season that with some garlic powder and some salt and some pepper. Don't worry, I cleaned off my counter before I sauteed these veggies. You guys wouldn't believe some of the comments I get about not sanitizing things, but sometimes I turn the camera off and do things when y'all aren't watching. So I had some leftover peppers and carrots in the fridge that I wanted to make sure I used up, and the recipe does call for these. So I went ahead and chopped those up along with a red onion. And then I'm also going to chop up some red pepper as well. You could put really any kind of veggie in here. You could do zucchini or broccoli, or you could even put boiled potatoes in, or chickpeas. It's really versatile. Pretty much, anything you have in your fridge, you could definitely use up in this dish. And I've been really searching for a good curry recipe, and I think this is it. Like, it's seriously the best curry that I've ever made at home, and it meal preps really nicely. It tastes good, heat it up even with rice. It's just delicious. So I have a hot skillet here with some olive oil, and I'm going to put the chicken in there and just brown it up until it's cooked through. I'm going to remove that to a plate, add a little bit more olive oil, and then put my veggies in. I didn't want to cook everything together because it does take the veggies a little bit longer than the chicken to cook. So I'm adding some garlic paste and some salt to those veggies, and then I will just saute those in the skillet until they are soft.
You know we met for a reason, but you're trying to deny that we should be together.
So once the veggies are cooked through, you can add the rest of the ingredients for the curry sauce. I'm using some red Thai curry paste that I got at the grocery store. I wanted to use yellow, but I could not find it at my grocery store, but the red worked just fine. I went ahead and added the cooked chicken back to the skillet along with the vegetables and the curry paste, and I just stirred that around a little bit to make sure that everything was mixed up. The next thing that you're going to add is a can of coconut milk. Make sure that you use coconut milk and not coconut cream, and also make sure that you use the regular coconut milk and not the light coconut milk. So after that is poured in, you can add about a half a cup of water and just stir that around. You're actually going to simmer this sauce along with the chicken and the veggies together until it all thickens up and it comes together well.
Weather we're heading for tonight. You better take what you can, 'cause the time is right now. We only need the two of us.
So to finish off the sauce for this dish, I'm going to add some fresh lime juice, some brown sugar, and a few tablespoons of creamy peanut butter, along with some soy sauce. And then you can just stir this in until all of the ingredients combine together. I know that the peanut butter sounds weird, but you really don't taste it in the finished dish. I just think that the combination of the curry and the coconut milk and all of these different ingredients really make this dish. Just trust me when I say this is the best curry that I've ever made, and I will continue to make it again and again. So for meal prep, I'm dividing this up into 3 dishes. Adam and I took this to work during the week. I ended up taking this curry and rice 2 days, and he took it 1 day. So I'm just spooning the chicken and the vegetables into some glass containers. Especially for curry, I want to make sure that I use glass containers and not plastic, because this has the potential to stain plastic containers. So I'm just going to pour the rest of the sauce over the chicken and the vegetables. And then I'm actually going to use some pre-cooked rice for this recipe. So this is the Vide Thai lime and herb rice, and this went really well with the curry. I'll link their site down below where you can see if you can get this in your grocery store. But if you can find it, I would really recommend it. It's super convenient just to be able to scoop it out of the package and put it in the containers, and then when you warm it up at work or during the week for lunch, it will just warm up right with the curry. So I went ahead and topped that with some fresh cilantro, and that is 1 meal prep lunch done for the week. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to get started on is some Pico de Gallo, and this is going to be a side or a topper for some Mexican beef stew that I am making this week. I'll link the recipe for that beef stew down below. It's really good. We've actually had this twice since I filmed this video, and the Mexican beef stew is super delicious, and I would totally recommend it. Even my kids loved it. So for the pico, I am putting some finely chopped red onion into a bowl, and I'm going to squeeze the juice of 2 limes over that. And then I will go ahead and dice up my tomatoes. So I just have some regular sized slicing tomatoes, and I'm going to chop those with my knife just as fine as I can. Chopping tomatoes is not always the easiest, especially in the winter when they are not super soft or ripe, but I did the best I could, and it obviously helps to have a sharp knife. Sometimes I get asked about the knife that I use. It's just a chef's knife, and I ordered this on Amazon. It is a little bit of an investment, and it's a high quality chef's knife, but if you cook a lot in the kitchen, I would definitely recommend this. So I'm just going to finish chopping up these tomatoes, and then we will put the rest of the pico together. The next ingredient that I'm going to add is a finely chopped jalapeno. So I just got one jalapeno for this at the grocery store. I go ahead and slice the sides off and then dice it up really fine. I did not include the seeds this time because I wanted it to be a little bit milder in case my kids wanted to use it on their soup. The next ingredient that I'm adding is some chopped cilantro along with some pepper. And then I am realizing that the bowl I chose was way too small. So I'm dumping it into a larger bowl, adding some salt and a little bit of garlic paste. And then I'm going to go ahead and stir that up really well. I do think that the garlic adds like a really nice flavor to it. So I would recommend adding that. I also thought that it needed a little bit more cilantro because in my opinion, you can never have too much cilantro, but I'm one of those people that loves it. I know there are other people out there that don't. And yes, I'm tasting it with the same spoon I'm stirring it with because this is for my family and my family only. So I did think it needed a little bit of extra garlic and salt, and that was it. So now that will be ready for us to use during the week. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to work on is some Sous Vide egg bites. These are egg bites that I like to eat for breakfast during the week. I take them to work and heat them up in the microwave, and I cook them in my Instant Pot. They are meant to be a copycat of the Starbucks Sous Vide egg bites that they have in the restaurants, and I think they are a pretty close substitute. I would say that the Starbucks ones are not quite as moist as these, but overall they are a pretty good dupe for that. So I'm using some Gouda cheese that I got at Aldi. You could really use any kind of cheese for this if you wanted to use Swiss or cheddar. You're also going to add some cottage cheese to your bowl and some half and half. I believe the original recipe calls for heavy cream, but I usually don't keep that on hand, so I use half and half and it works out just fine. I also added some hot sauce and some salt, and then I'm going to go ahead and just blend that together with my immersion stick blender. So I did a video a while ago where I went over some of my most used kitchen tools. I can link that down below, and this immersion blender is definitely one that I use quite a bit, especially for this recipe. I find that it just is able to combine all the ingredients together and really make like a homogeneous sort of liquid to pour into your egg bite portions. For these particular egg bites, I'm going to go ahead and dice up some ham and add that to the egg cups. These silicone trays I got on Amazon, and I'll link them down below, but basically the process I follow is to sprinkle the diced up protein into the wells there in the silicone tray. So today I'm using ham. You could use bacon or sausage, whatever you have on hand. I pour the egg mixture in there and then add a little bit extra of shredded cheese on the top. And then I had a little bit of egg left, and so I'm just going to make a few small egg bites, and that worked out just fine. I didn't want to waste the egg that I had there. So I have my Instant Pot with a trivet in the bottom, and I am adding a cup of water. I'm going to go ahead and set the full tray down on the bottom, and then I'll set the partial tray on the top and kind of set it alternating so that it sets on top of the other one. I will close my Instant Pot and set it to sealing. That's important. Make sure it's sealing and not venting. And then I will put these on the steam function for 8 minutes. And then once they have done a natural pressure release for 10 minutes, you can go ahead and let the steam off and then go ahead and check them. So these puff up quite a bit while they are cooking, but they will shrink down once they cool. So just be aware of that. When you take the lid off, they're going to look like they are like overflowing out of the tray, and you're going to wonder what you have done. But after they have sat for a little while, they will sink back down, and that is what they look like. So once these are cool, I just turn them out onto a plate and cool them the rest of the way. I actually like to pack these in a dish and then I take them to work. So I'll just actually like take the whole dish to work, and then I'll take out a couple each day and put them on a paper plate and heat them up in the microwave. It is super easy. They're really good with like toast, or sometimes I eat them with half a bagel or even with some avocado or guacamole. Next, I'm going to prep some hummus bento boxes. So this is the recipe that I've been using for homemade hummus for quite a while. It actually came from a Cook's Country magazine that I got several years ago. So I will type the recipe out down in the description box below if you'd like to copy it. and print it off. But basically you want to process your chickpeas in a food processor. I have a Cuisinart food processor that Adam got me several years ago for Christmas, and it's really nice. I love it. I will definitely have it for the rest of my life, but it's definitely recommended to have a food processor if you're going to make hummus at home. And this hummus really does taste delicious. It is better probably than any hummus that you will get store-bought. This recipe calls for tahini, which is a sesame seed paste. And so I'm pouring that into a measuring cup along with the olive oil, and then I will stream that into the top of the food processor as everything is mixing. This recipe calls for chickpeas and salt, lemon juice, olive oil, tahini, garlic, and then a few spices, salt and cumin and cayenne pepper, I believe. But yeah, it's really, really good. This is the best homemade hummus recipe that I have found, and I've tried a lot of different ones. So I am using these glass bento boxes that I got from Amazon. I bought these quite a while ago, and they've come in handy, especially for lunches for Adam and I. I usually don't give these to the kids because I just don't want them like slamming their lunchbox around and breaking them since they're glass, but they do work really well for Adam and I. So in one portion, I am going to put some hummus and sprinkle it with a little bit of olive oil. I'm also going to sprinkle it with some Fresh Jack's Greek seasoning. I'll link this in the description box down below. This Greek seasoning is really good, and I use it on all of my Greek dishes, especially my hummus. So in also one of the spots, I'm going to chop up some cucumber and some carrots and put those in there. And then in the other spot in the bento box, I'm going to add some mini naan bread. So I randomly actually found these at Aldi. Most of the time I can't find them there, but you can find them at Walmart and other grocery stores. But they are perfect for this application because they are small and fit in there perfectly. So here's a look at my completed bento boxes. I took this for lunch to work one day, and Adam took it as a snack for work one day. So definitely delicious. Okay, so the last thing that I'm going to get started on is some pumpkin chocolate chip muffins for my kids to eat for breakfast. This is a favorite recipe of ours, and I'll link it down below. It's something that I have made many times. For this recipe, I'm going to actually use half low carb sugar or sweetener, so like the Sola brand sugar, along with half of regular sugar, just to cut down the carbs and the calories a little bit. And then this recipe does call for quite a bit of oil. That actually calls for vegetable oil, but I'm going to substitute unsweetened applesauce for a portion of that, just because I feel like, again, it does call for a lot of oil, and I don't really want that much calories in my muffins. So I think I used about half oil and half vegetable oil and half applesauce for that part. So basically you can mix up all of the wet ingredients with a mixer. I'm using my KitchenAid stand mixer, and then you can go ahead and add your dry ingredients. So baking soda, baking powder, and flour. And then once the flour is added, you can go ahead and mix in your chocolate chips. I'm using semi-sweet chocolate chips, but you could use any kind. I think also white chocolate chips would be good, but this is what I had on hand, so this is what I'm using. This full recipe makes 2 dozen muffins, but if you wanted to cut this in half, you totally could. I was actually planning on giving a dozen away to one of our friends, and so I went ahead and made the whole batch. But I took some paper muffin liners. These are Christmas muffin liners because that's what I had left over, and that's how I roll here, is just using up what I have. But I went ahead and put those in the muffin tins and then sprayed them with just a little bit of cooking spray to make sure that the muffins did not stick to the paper liners. And then I'm using just like an ice cream scoop. I have an OXO one, and so I'll link that down below. It works really well for muffins. Like, it's just exact right size for regular size muffins. So I'm just scooping this out. I was obviously one short, and I'm going to go ahead and pop those in the oven, and you will bake these at 400 degrees for about 17 minutes, but check them to make sure that they don't need extra. All right, guys, so we are at the end of the meal prep for this week, and I just want to show you what all I got done. So here are the pumpkin chocolate chip muffins. I did have to put them in for a little bit longer than 17 minutes, and you can see this tray over here I feel like got a little brown, especially in the back, but hopefully those are still okay. I'm actually going to give half of these to a friend as a little gift for something that she gave us. So I need to get these out of the pan and onto the cooling racks, and then I will cool those all the way before I pack them up. This is a really good recipe, and everyone really loves it. My kids love it. They're super moist. I've never made them with the applesauce before instead of the oil, so hopefully they turn out fine like that. Here is my fruit bowl that's all washed up. So I have my bananas on top here. Obviously I didn't have to wash those up. I have my pears that I got washed up, my apples, and then one avocado that I'll probably use for either my breakfast or lunches this week. I have the Pico de Gallo that I made. This is for a Mexican beef soup recipe that I'm going to be making this week. I was just eating this with some chips, and it is delicious, so I need to put it away before I eat it all. Here's the fruit that I got cut up. So I got mangoes, blueberries, and strawberries. This will for sure or most likely be gone by the end of the week. If it's not, I usually throw this in the freezer in a Ziploc bag, and then we can use it for smoothies. The kids sometimes like to have smoothies for breakfast. I also made my little hummus boxes. So here is the hummus drizzled with a little bit of olive oil and some of that Fresh Jack's Greek seasoning. I added a few little naan breads, some carrots, and cucumber. So those will be great for Adam or I to take for lunches this week. And then I also had a little bit of extra hummus, so I made up just a little cup, and I can take that on a different day if I want to. I have the celery here that I chopped up, and I just put it in a jar with cold water, so this will stay good in the fridge for a week and a half usually, and then if we don't get it used up, I'll put it in the bag in the freezer that I have for my stock veggies. But this is some spreadable cheese that I got from Aldi, and so this is what I'm planning to spread on the celery. I haven't done it quite yet, but sometimes I do that to send with the kids to lunch, or Adam will take it for a snack at work also. Here's the tuna salad I made that turned out really good, so I'll be using that for lunches this week. And then I do have one night for dinner this week where I don't have anything planned, and so anything that we kind of have left over we can use up on that night for dinner. I also have one container of egg salad. Adam actually already ate one of them, so this is the other half. He likes to take that to lunch with, listen to my Roomba. Anyway, he likes to take this for lunch with crackers and then like a can of soup. You guys want to see my Roomba? Look. So I finally bought one of these. I've been wanting one for a long time, and it has helped so much with the dog hair. I seriously love it, and its name is R2D2. Anyway, sorry for the interruption there. This was the extra Gouda cheese that I had left over from the egg bites, so I just went ahead and cut this up into cubes, and we can use that for snacking on this week. I have my copycat Starbucks egg bites with the ham and cheese. Adam really doesn't normally like these. I don't know why. I love them, and so I'll take these for breakfast this week to work probably along with some of this avocado on the side. That'll be a good high protein, low carb breakfast. I did not show this in the video, but I had some summer sausage left over from last week and some cheeses that needed to be cut up, and so I just went ahead and put these into a container so we can use those for snacking on, or sometimes the kids like to make homemade Lunchables to take for their school lunches. I'm really excited to eat this Thai Penang curry. So this is chicken curry along with that new VT rice that I am trying out. So I actually made 3 of these. I'll probably use 2 of them for lunches, and then Adam can take the other one, or we can eat it for dinner on that leftover night this week. And then I didn't show this in the video at all, but I just wanted to mention something that I do with leftover cucumbers. If I have some in my fridge that are about to go bad, I like to make refrigerator pickles. So this liquid looks kind of cloudy, and that's just because I used garlic paste in here instead of garlic cloves because I was out of whole cloves of garlic. But basically, I just took some cucumbers that I had that were about to turn and, cut them into spears just like you would regular pickles. And then I just have a recipe on my Pinterest board, and I'll try and leave a link to it down below for refrigerator pickles. And so basically, you just make the brine. There's I can't remember, peppercorns, dill, vinegar, water, sugar, something. And then you can just put them in brine and leave them in the refrigerator, and you will have your own homemade pickles, and you will not waste your cucumbers. So that is everything that I got done today. So thank you so much for watching. These are my favorite videos to film and make, and I'm doing this anyway for my family for the week. So hopefully this was helpful to you. If you have any requests on what you'd like to see me meal prep in the future, let me know. I will see you in my next video. Bye.
We better stick together, let's come whatever. We're not coming home tonight. We're living quick in the walk, gotta get it right.